Hi, my name is Ashley Hamilton, and I teach second grade at Middle Branch Elementary. Throughout my years of teaching, my ideas on teaching vocabulary have evolved and changed through professional development, experiences, and most recently, the K2 Literacy Institute. Vocabulary is one of the 5 core domains that we need to teach students to be effective readers. And a student's understanding of vocabulary is directly correlated to their comprehension. Research states that students need to be able to understand, not just decode, upward of 95% of the words that they read. So you can see that vocabulary is essential to building 21st century readers. As educators, we must create an environment in our classroom where students really gain a curiosity about words, where they're excited about learning new words, and where they really just want to know more. And really the main way we can do that is by our own enthusiasm and just by modeling those types of behaviors. Getting students excited about learning words and being able to, really wonder about words, that's called word consciousness. And to do that, we really need to provide students with a rich environment of text and just expose them to lots of different texts that really just make them curious about words. During the K2 Literacy Institute, we received many different resources to help us do that. 2 of my favorite that we received are the book The Word Collector and Big Words for Little People. These are great to get students excited about reading and excited about finding words. A quick way to do that is by having a word jar in your classroom. This is just a way that you can build word consciousness right away. So what you do is when students are reading independently or even in a guided reading group, you have students really think about words that they're interested in or words that they want to know more about, words that they're not sure what they mean. And this keeps students accountable because they know that they have to give something to you, and also they have something to do while they're doing that independent reading. So once students have the words that they're wondering about, they can just write it on a slip of paper, and then they can come and put it in the word jar. And then just whenever you have those times where you have 5 or 10 minutes there, you can have students come out and draw some of the words, and you can talk to students about what those words mean. Students are excited to put words into the word jar, and it just keeps them wondering about new things and wondering about words. So during the K2 Literacy Institute, we received a multitude of different resources that we can use to really just build vocabulary in our classroom. One resource that I found to be really helpful is the Reading Strategy book. This book has great resources for all different parts of teaching reading, but Chapter 11 has great ideas that you can take right away, different strategies for teaching different parts of vocabulary. I found this to be super helpful, and it's just a quick way to pull things for whatever you need in whatever part of vocabulary that you're teaching. So after you've built a really word-rich environment in your classroom, the next step is that students need to be directly instructed on Tier 2 vocabulary. Tier 2 vocabulary really needs to be your major focus when you're choosing words to directly instruct. Marzano has a 6-step process which can be used to introduce words and to really teach students the specific words that they need to know and the words that they're going to see in the text that they're reading. So Marzano's 6 steps, the first step is to provide a direct description of the word. This needs to be not just having students look up the word in a dictionary and copy it down. You need to provide students with an explanation that it's within a context, whether it's within a mentor text, whether it's within a story. They need to be able to hear that word in the context of something else. Once you've done that, then you need to be able, for step 2, to make sure that they can restate what that word means in their own words. You want to watch that students aren't just repeating exactly what you say. They need to be able to take what you've told them and then put it into their own words to show their understanding. The third step is that students need to be able to create a picture or a visual, some sort of representation of that word. And there's many different ways you can do that. You can have students draw the word to go along kind of with your vocabulary chart. You can have students create the words using different materials. You can have students kind of put on a play showing that word. There's lots of different ways you can do that, but you need to make sure that they have some sort of concrete representation of that word to kind of go back to and remember. The fourth step is they need to be able to record their knowledge. And there's all kinds of graphic organizers that you can use for this. A lot of times what you do is you have the word in the center, and then students need to be able to tell a synonym and an antonym. They need to be able to use it in a sentence, maybe draw another quick picture and kind of give the explanation. Step number 5 is that after they've done all that, then they need to be able to talk about this word. And that's where you need to give students a chance to talk with their peers about this word. Let them share their experiences and hear other students' ideas about this word, just further cementing their understanding and just making it more concrete. The more that they can talk about these words, the more that they're truly going to retain that knowledge. And finally, my favorite one, the last step, is to play games with the words. And there are so many different ways that you can do this. One of my students' favorite ways is charades. So after we've taught Tier 2 words, students draw the words out and then they act them out, and students have to guess which word that they're being. There's all different kinds of games that you can play. There's many different resources. And I know during the K2 Literacy Institute, they shared a lot of those different resources that you can implement to really just have students have fun with the word and fully cement their understanding. Once you've done this, you'll see that, once you've created that word-rich environment and then you're directly instructing those Tier 2 words, you can see how those come together for students' full understanding of vocabulary. One of my favorite resources to use is actually one that's for free online that's called the Utah Text Talks. And educators have taken 101 different read-alouds, and they've already chosen those Tier 2 words that you can use as mentor text. And then you can follow Marzano's 6 steps to teach vocabulary, and you can use those with read-alouds that you probably already have in your classroom.